My name's Phill Fenton and this is my Nova kit car.
Now, the Nova is a beautiful thing, and I'm a big fan of Richard Oakes. I mean, it's hard to believe it's 1972 this was launched.
Right.
So tell me about your love affair with the Nova. When did it begin?
It probably began in 1972 when it first came out. I remember seeing it in some of the magazines at the time. And it was, if you like, it would have been my dream car at the time. I would have been 72, I would have been about 14, 15. And I had this hankering for a car like the Nova. I didn't get one until 1984. I bought a kit from a company in Yorkshire. It wasn't Richard Oakes' company anymore. Since then it had changed hands a couple of times. But I bought it as a kit and I put one together from scratch. I only kept it about 18 months and then I sold it. And I probably regretted selling it from that time onwards. And then come about to the year 2000, I started looking at websites and things all about the Nova. I got really interested in it again. And then 12 years ago, this one came up for sale. It was basically an abandoned project. Didn't have an engine, didn't have any wiring, no interior. But it had everything I needed, which was a V5 to make it legal, and a good start, a good windscreen, decent wheels and what have you. So I bought it as a project, but I didn't start it until about 5 years ago, and I finally got it on the road about 18 months ago. So,
tell me the story of what spurred you on to get it on the road.
Oh, right.
It's a lovely story.
Well, it was my son. He was at university at the time. And he always used to laugh at me with this car that was sitting in the garden doing nothing. And I always said, well, it's my retirement project. When I retire, that's when I'll get it rebuilt. And he used to say, well, if you leave it till then, you'll never manage to get in and out of it. So he set me a challenge. He says, you get it finished by the time I graduate from university. And that was the target. So that's what happened, basically. He gave me the sort of drive to make it happen, and I managed to finish it a couple of months before he graduated.
Ooh.
The original plan was we were going to drive to the graduation in the car, but the weather wasn't suitable that day, so that never happened. But we met the time scale.
Did you have a few sweaty palms just before though?
No, I had plenty of time. It was going quite easy. It wasn't too bad. I knew I was going to make it.
Now the floor pan came with the kit.
Uh-huh.
What condition was that in?
It was rusted. So basically I cut the old floor pan out completely, put new pans in, and so basically it's brand new floor pans that's in it. It's been lowered 2.5 inches, which is what they recommend for the Nova to give you more headroom. Apart from that, all the mechanicals were refurbished. I put discs on the front. All new braking system, new brakes at the back, basically refurbished everything, so everything was like brand new again.
So when did it hit the road again?
But well, it was, I'm saying 18 months ago. It was round about this time, 2 years ago in fact. So it was April, yeah.
Yeah, just about made it.
Yeah, you can recline the seat slightly if you want.
No, I'm okay.
Give you more headroom.
There's not bad foot room either. There's good leg room.
Yeah.
And back in the Nova, I know you've had one,
Uh-huh.
but how did it feel?
Scary at first because it's quite a small car. It's very low to the ground, so you do feel a bit exposed when there's other traffic on the road, especially big lorries and trucks. But you soon get used to it. I mean, I'm used to it now. I'm quite comfortable driving it these days. But I know a few people that have driven it that don't like it or they feel uncomfortable in it, you know.
So, how often do you actually get to drive the car?
In the summer, I'll be driving it every weekend, and I'll be driving it quite often in the evenings. In the winter time, I'll wait for a day that's a bit like this, where it's dry, hopefully no salt on the roads. If it's decent, I'll take it out for a run, for a short drive. There's no heating system in the car, and the Nova's notorious for the windscreen misting up. So on a wet day, it's a problem. When you're driving it, you end up with a misted windscreen. But I've solved that by taking the sunroof out, and that gives it a bit more airflow when you're driving.
As a driving experience, what's the Nova like? People can only assume from the Beetle, I presume, but
it feels old-fashioned. But because it's low to the ground and because it's lightweight, it actually feels very quick. Even though that car at the moment has only got a 1300 twin-port engine in it, it can motor along on the motorway quite well. It's a bit slow 0 to 60, the acceleration, but I've got a 1700 Type 4 engine which I'm rebuilding at the moment, and eventually that'll go in the car and should give it the performance that it deserves.
So that's the obvious next stage with the car. Are there any other plans regarding it?
Just gradual improvements as time goes on. I mean, I got it on the road, like I say, 2 years ago now, and at that time there was no carpeting inside it. There was quite a few issues. It broke down on me a couple of times when I was out. So I've been just gradually working through it. It's become reliable now. The hydraulic system for the roof, there's a leak on the rams, so it doesn't clamp down quite as tight as it should. And when you leave the roof open for 2 or 3 days, when it's inside, it gradually shuts itself down, and that's an indication that that the hydraulic fluid is passing by the seals inside the rams. It's not leaking hydraulic fluid, but it's not holding the pressure.
And what's the public reaction to the car?
Majority of people like it. Yeah, I mean, I've been followed back to the unit here by a guy in a Porsche one day wanting to know what it was. And I've had someone else one time came across, they actually thought it was a GT40, because the youngsters don't really know what it is. The older guys like me tend to recognise it. I've had a few people in at work that have walked in, a Nova, and I'm thinking, there's a soul partner, someone else that knows what the thing's about, you know.
The livery, beautiful. Got obviously the Porsche Gulf colours. That isn't a problem for you with your business, is it? The decals and so on.
No, the car's vinyl wrapped. So the car, when I got it, it was red and it was a poor quality respray that had been done. So I did a vinyl wrap, which is why it's blue, and all the decals were decals that we make ourselves. So if you like it, it promotes the business, and which is why I've got my business name on it and so on. It's supposed to look a bit like a race car, so it's got sponsors' names on it. So I think it looks the part. I think it works.
It does look fantastic, honestly. It really does.
I actually copied it from I'd seen a YouTube video of a Golf Nova down in London, and that was probably 8 or 9 years ago, and I just loved the look of the Golf colours, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to do mine like that, which is why I decided to wrap it in these colours.
Well, we're not the BBC, so tell us the name of your company and how can we find you if somebody wants some decals.
All right, well, it's The Right Signs. Website address, it's on the side of the car. It's The Right Signs Co UK.
Thank you very much for letting us look at the car. I'll get some shots and get some action footage.
It's my pleasure, thank you. Right.